So this is Demographic Review, page 5. All right, post-war 1950s. This is the stuff we just covered. So some major demographic things we need to be aware of. The movement to the suburbs, the baby boom, and the move to the Sun Belt. So let's start with the move to the second ring of suburbs. What caused people to move to the suburbs post-war America? Clay?
People want conformity.
Okay, yeah. People wanted that sense of consensus, conformity, which is actually kind of a result, too, of suburbia. Laura? Yes, the Highway Act of 1956 encourages suburbanization. What other reasons cause people to move to the suburbs?
More having kids.
The baby boom. So the Highway Act, the baby boom.
White-collar workers.
Okay, why do we have more of them buying homes?
Yeah.
What caused that?
Oh, the GI Bill.
GI Bill of Rights. Okay, the low-cost homes for returning servicemen. And homes are going to be affordable in the suburbs with things like Levittown, the mass-produced housing communities. The results, we already mentioned conformity, consensus. What are any of the other results of another move to the suburbs? Yeah, definitely plays along with the cult of domesticity coming back. Tara?
Aren't the cities more populated by African Americans because they're not accepted in the cities?
Okay, yes, you are going to have more, especially in the north, the African Americans more in the cities. And the start of urban, what we call urban decay, the rundown cities and so forth. Okay, what caused the baby boom? Let's be historical here, please. Yes?
People had lots of money after the war so they could afford to have babies.
Yes, and why did people have money after the war? Very good. Yeah, people had saved a lot of money during the war. There wasn't a lot of consumer goods, so they could afford to have children. What else encouraged the baby boom? What gave people the ability to buy homes and get a good paying job? Huh? GI Bill of Rights. Okay. And also you could even argue the Levittowns, also even though they're a result of the baby boom, you could also argue that it's a cause because it made houses affordable to people, and once you're in a house, that made it the next step to have a family. All right, what is going to be the results of the baby boom? What's going to be the impact of the baby boom?
50 billion babies.
Okay, yeah, we have 50 billion babies born between 1945 and 1960.
50 million.
Yep.
Advertising on TV for consumer goods.
Very good. Yes, it increases consumerism because having children, that costs a lot of money.
Is it 50 million or 50 billion?
50 million. Did I say billion? I meant million. That'd be a lot of babies, 50 billion. Okay, Matt? Okay, yeah, it gave us an economic boost because they are doing the consumer spending, plus you had to build parks and schools for all these kids. It led to the suburbs. People are moving to the suburbs because they're having kids. And remember, we became a child-centered society in the 1950s. Okay, first of all, the Sun Belt. What is the Sun Belt? Like, where were people moving? Down to the south, all the way from North Carolina, all the way down through Arizona. And what made people start to move south after the war?
They were going for jobs for industries.
Very good. Yeah, people were getting jobs there because a lot of the government industries that related to the Cold War were getting set up in the south. Okay, like the space program and things like that. So that meant that the middle of our country, the Midwest, where we had so much industry, begins this process of losing population and becomes known as the Rust Belt, and the South becomes the Sun Belt. And this is still a migration occurring today. Again, there's more service-oriented jobs in the South, in banking, healthcare, things like that. What's the result then? Well, I kind of said it, the Rust Belt. And if they're gaining population, that gives them more voting power. You get more representatives based on how, and more electoral college votes based on your population. All right. The last couple things we have to add on here, we've not talked about in class, but we'll be going over, so let's go ahead and go over them now. Immigration in the 1960s is mainly going to come from Latin America and Asia, okay, especially people fleeing the situations in Vietnam and Cambodia. So a big piece of immigration reform that's passed as part of the Great Society is the Immigration Act of 1965. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. It abolished the quota system that was established in 1921, where the quotas is based on your country of origin. Okay, and now our quota system, we have a limit on how many people we let in the country every year, but it's more based on your reason for coming over. We issue so many work visas, so many green cards for education, things like that. It increases the number of immigrants we allow into our country.
Family unification, part of it.
Yes, family unification, that if you have close relatives here, we are more open about allowing husbands, wives, things like that to come over. Okay? Now, we need to add a little bit here, okay? What happens as we go into the 1970s? Because we actually do start to maybe limit some immigration from the Western Hemisphere. We're going to have a lot of people immigrating here illegally, which we know illegal immigrants are a big problem for us today. So by the mid-70s, we have about 12 million illegal immigrants here. And by the 1980s, 47% of our immigrants were coming from Latin America. Okay. So starting in the mid-70s, we had a lot of illegal immigrants coming here, about 12 million. And by the 1980s, immigration's primarily from Latin America, or half of it is. So in 1986, we have the Immigration Reform and Control Act. 1986, the Immigration Reform and Control Act is passed under Reagan. It tried to deal with the problem of illegal immigrants, okay? So one thing that it did is it penalized employers for hiring illegal immigrants. And then it gave amnesty to anybody who came here prior to 1982 illegally. And this is a very hot topic today. Congress has not done anything major with regards to immigration reform, but people are demanding it. And most recently, one thing that was done, which was called like the Dream Bill or something, I think, but kids who were brought here or born here illegally were allowed to stay here. Like they can't be deported. Because they don't even know, like, if they're from Mexico, they've never even been to Mexico. As far as they know, they're American citizens because they were born here, okay? Hold on. Quiet. That was 1986, okay?
When did that grant? What time did it grant?
1982. Okay,